we do have some bad news for Tesla stock. If you are investing short term, long term, probably no, this is not the bad news. But I wanted to show you this first, because if you don't see the bad news first and then you find out about the bad news because someone else is changing their position on Tesla stock, for example, a bull, that might affect you emotionally. So it's important to get the bad news from someone who will give you a rather factual perspective first, and then interpret that. What does this mean for Tesla in the long run? So here are the news. Yesterday, I mentioned a potential rumored, not confirmed, rumored further price cut for Tesla vehicles in China. And this year, if you look at this, some websites are talking about the 16,002 units that were produced but neither delivered nor exported in October. This is in reference to Giga Shanghai, and this is important. This has a negative effect because it's something that supports the price cut rumor. October production was 87,700. Deliveries plus exports were 71,000. So notice here, production was quite a bit higher than all of the deliveries. This is deliveries locally and also exports. Now, why does this matter? Well, you could say no problem at all, because Tesla will export those 16,000 vehicles. Now, one thing you could say is, Matt, you can put those 16,000 vehicles on one single ship and ship them to Europe, right? Well, you can't really put that many vehicles on one single ship. On average, Tesla usually puts about 3,000 vehicles on a single ship. You can see some of the examples right here. You can see the green ones. These are the ships, and they are going to Europe. And you can see that they are not all, together. They are spaced out. You load them up, and then you have another one a few days later. You load up another one, and then you have another one later, right? And then we look at the order backlog. There are a lot of orders coming from Europe, but that is just going to be a little bit too long for the ship to get from Shanghai to Europe before the end of the quarter. In one of the businesses that I have, we ship a lot of things from China to US, for example, and it takes a long time to ship from China to Europe. Now, also keep in mind, even if you got the ideal time, you still need to load all of the cars. That takes time. Then you need to unload all of the cars at your destination. And then from that destination, you have to deliver the cars. So if they choose to deliver these cars to Europe and actually make a good profit selling those vehicles, that would be for next quarter. And I will explain a little bit later why that is such a big deal, especially if you are concerned with Tesla stock price short term. Long term doesn't make any difference. Short term, it's a big deal. So, but also we do have some orders that have not been delivered, for example, in Australia, New Zealand. For example, when you look at Model Y, if you want to order from Australia, you have to wait for a record amount of time still. So I would imagine maybe they would just ship those cars to Australia. And similar with Model 3 as well. You can see the waiting lines are ridiculous. But Australia is pretty small, and Giga Shanghai, it can make some vehicles a serious amount very quickly. But if they want to ship to Australia, they also need to do that sort of now, because Christmas holiday season is coming. So you want to ship everything now and then leave the rest of the cars that you will produce to be delivered locally within China. One thing that we know for sure with very high certainty is that those cars will not be delivered from China to US, although the profit margin would absolutely make sense. But politically, that would be not very good. Elon getting all the hate right now already, and then you give him more ammo that, oh, this guy is supporting our, let's say, not a friend, importing vehicles from not a friend into US. How do you think that would go politically? Even taking into account the 7,500 credit that Americans will have, even that, if you reduce the price of the American-made Model Y, the Chinese-made one is still cheaper right now. If we go with Troy's numbers, who has a pretty accurate track record of predicting deliveries, mind you, we were talking about deliveries, not production. Production, I don't see any issues, and deliveries only matter for the short term of Tesla stock, not long term. So for deliveries, if you go with Troy's numbers, it is trending at 40% right now. But if they sell those vehicles in inventory, those 16,000 cars, and if they sell that within China, that would be just under 50%. Now, if Tesla wants to sell all of these vehicles within China, which is going through a bad economic time right now, that puts a lot more pressure on these price cuts that we talked about yesterday. And it would be nice if Elon addressed any of these rumors. For example, there have been reports that, or speculation, that Tesla China denied these potential price cuts directly. But we also know that customer service does not know about the price cuts in advance, because if they did, this would create a lot of issues. You would have a lot of lawsuits, just a lot of bad things happening. You can read this if you like. You can pause. It's just this would be happening all over if headquarters would let Tesla service know that, hey, look, we are decreasing the price. So those customer agents would have to let everyone know that, yes, we are planning to decrease the price, which would serve no benefit to Tesla as a company, because the orders would completely plummet until the discount takes place. If Tesla does go with a further price cut, this would again affect Tesla's gross auto margin. And Troy's projecting that would be down from 27% to 20%, and that within China, the auto gross margin would be something like 5%, but only for the cheaper models. And also, this is assuming that a price cut would be of a certain size, which we wouldn't know how big it would be if it happened again. And this would, I think, would secure the 50% growth quite easily. And remember, so this is why, as a long-term investor, I don't see any issues here. First, Tesla's targets are, number one, 50% growth in production, and just under 50% growth in deliveries. And the main goal for Tesla this year is FSD wide release. That's from Elon Musk earlier this year. And in 2020, on a conference called Earnings Call, Elon Musk said that Tesla just wants to be slightly profitable. I think most of us would agree that $3 billion in a quarter, that is a lot of income. A lot. That's not just slightly profitable, that is widely profitable. If Tesla chooses to export those vehicles and only reach, according to Troy, roughly about 40% year-over-year growth in deliveries, that would give bears a lot of ammunition to say, oh, there's a demand issue now, and the growth story is over, and therefore sell all of your Tesla stock. While over time, Tesla does average 50% year-over-year growth. Some years are less than that. For example, from 2019 to 2020, we had about 36% growth, and Also, 2016 to 2017 was also not 50%. But we can also clearly see that oftentimes, for example, right here from 2017 to 2018, then we had more than a doubling. So then, of course, we would expect to slow down a little bit. And remember the craziness that 2020 was in the world. So that is expected. And most tend to forget that Tesla basically doubled from 2020 to 2021. So if Tesla supposedly only grows by 40%, it's so convenient to forget that we grew at almost 100% from 2020 to 2021. So then you hear Bear saying later, Tesla growth story is over. That is complete BS. And this, though, if China demand does start slowing down because of recession, this would be a great time for Tesla to really focus as much as we can on rolling out that lower priced vehicle. Demand in US for Tesla vehicles is extremely strong, and the 7,500 credit for each Tesla vehicle next year, the Tesla Enrichment Act will make Tesla much richer indeed. Another thing that we have to consider with the price cuts, if they do happen, this is in regard to the previous price cut, which Tesla told Reuters it was adjusting prices in line with cost. So maybe we will not see a decline in margin, perhaps, if Tesla does not cut prices lower from where we are right now. But even if it does, maybe the decline in margin is not as much as Troy would expect it to be, which would bring down global auto gross margins from 27% to 20%, according to him. Of course, all of this right now is just in the rumor category. Nothing is confirmed. We will have to wait and see. But if you see anything from the bears, I would just dismiss anything to do with demand or the ending of the growth story that is Tesla. I believe Tesla will continue to grow. Tesla can make a cheaper EV model and launch it much sooner, I believe, if they need to, which if there is indeed slowing demand, that would bring the demand way back up. Tesla could not keep up with all of the orders if they release a $30,000 EV. My name is Matt Postis, reporting to you from Acura City, Canada. These are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. I'll see you later today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you haven't yet.